It's Sunday morning, and I just wanted to share a few thoughts. My wife and I were talking about what got us to the decision to depart and go to Canada. If you followed any of the previous ones, it's something that took me a while to get here. She was here before I was. Wanting to do this. I think I was holding out hope and some idea that this was somehow going to pass or wash out, and it hasn't. I think the tipping point for me was this last 48 to 72 hours, which is funny. That's the sliding scale that seems to be reused over and over. Oh, in the last 48 hours. But this past 48 to 72 hours with the decision and the announcement by Homeland Security, not pundits or not people speculating on other social media sites or pages, but actually from the horse's mouth, that they are hiring 30 people that are going to be tech savvy, whose whole purpose is to create a 24/7 workshop to begin scrubbing through social media, all the platforms, the Substacks, the Instagrams, the everything, Threads, Blue Sky, the things that
TikTok,
where opinions are being shared and objections and outrages are being shared by content creators about what's happening and about criticizing the current regime and what they're doing, what they're enacting, what they're proposing, expounding on the leaks that are coming out for operational type things. And the narrative just keeps moving further down the field of totalitarianism and fascism and shutting out and prosecuting and penalizing people who speak out, who write things, who say things, who post things, who put up graphics,
who protest,
even out in the streets, against this regime and what they're doing. And I think regime is appropriate because we can see parallels in history to regimes, and they're very popular ones. We don't need to name them. And not just historically what we well know those ended in, but now what we are relearning and revisiting from the history that we've learned that led up to those actions that were just absolutely abhorrent in what they brought out against their people and against their own citizens and against ethnic groups. We're learning what that sliding scale, revisiting and being reminded of what that sliding scale was that led to those events. It didn't just start with those events. There was persecutions leading to it. There was separations that happened before that. There was the creating of rhetoric and public opinion against certain groups and beliefs and people. Again, historically in multiple situations. We're there, and that's what's happening. And what I told my wife with this work group, this social media group, is you really need to unpack it. This is an investment, and this is something that takes time and it takes money, and you don't put time and money into something unless you have a long-term plan for it. There's hiring of personnel. There is creating data drives and data storage facilities for compounding and compiling this, and for analyzing it, and for separating it, and programs for that. One of the programs that's, I think, fallen off a lot of radars is Peter Thiel, and the agreement that the contract that the government has made with that software program. And what that software program does globally in facial recognition, in compiling and connecting data around protests and things like that. So you don't just do that for that to be the end game. That then becomes the leverage and the ammunition towards action, towards incarceration, towards impounding personal property, towards taking personal freedoms, towards not only incarcerating, but relocating people to other countries, not of their choosing, with no due process. We see it. It's in plain sight right now, and it's happening, and it's not being hidden. It's right out in the open. And I know a lot of that is focused on, and we've seen it, is on immigration and on non-documented people that are here and non-citizens. But again, all that investment doesn't go into that just being an end game, and that being the final point.
It's used to control the people.
Yes, it's used for control, for them, for us, and how easy to then slide into the next step of what was already laid out on Monday of the enemy within. That is where this is going. That is why they're looking at social media platforms. To be honest, think about it. Social media and the posts and the protests and the opinions are not coming out of an undocumented migrant community. They're coming out of U.S. citizens here at home in large and small cities that are opposed to what's going on. That's what's being looked at. That is what is being scrubbed and compiled by work groups, not some footprint that somebody who may be here beyond a visa or not even on a visa at all is doing. That's less than a fraction of 1% of what's out there. Those people already know not to make a profile and not to make any type of notice. So anyway, that's where I got to, that we need to go, and we need to get out, and we need to look at this from a perspective that's safe for us, that is an asylum for us, that is supportive of us, and also hopefully will have a lot less of the filters and blocks that what we're not seeing that's happening. We're seeing a lot, but it's hard to see the forest for the trees when you're in the midst of it. So that's where we're going. So for now.